The glove is already in the air before the opera house understands what it has witnessed. A young man stands at the edge of a box above the stalls, spine rigid, every line of him directed across the gilded hall toward a single figure. The silk glove strikes the rail. It does not fall. It rests there, white against gold, and the room, 200 people caught mid-conversation, mid-breath, falls silent, as though the sound has been drawn from it. The figure in the opposite box has not moved. The young man meets that gaze and does not look away. When he speaks, the entire house hears him. "Monsieur the Comte, I hold you responsible for the ruin of my father's name, and I demand the satisfaction that honor requires." The words are formal. That is what makes them terrible. The air in the room has changed. No one came here expecting this. No one will leave untouched by it. 12 hours before the glove left his hand. A private study. Curtains drawn against the afternoon. Danglars sits behind his desk, cautious, composed, already measuring what a young man in this condition might demand of him. Albert has come for a name. He has traced the letter to Yanina, the letter that carried his father's ruin into a public chamber. He wants its author. Danglars does not flinch. "I wrote to Yanina, yes, but at the Count's suggestion. If anyone wished the destruction of your father's name, look there and not at me." The precision of it, the cleanliness of it. A man who has spent a lifetime balancing ledgers knows how to transfer a debt without smudging a single figure. Albert leaves with the name he came to find. It is not the name he expected. The opera house was never the beginning. It was the end of a road already traveled. The room holds its stillness. Albert has crossed the threshold before he speaks. The name is already on his tongue, already sharpened into a weapon. Mercédès hears it. One breath. Her hands, resting against the mantel, press inward. The knuckles whiten before she forces them still. She does not ask where he heard it. She does not ask what he intends. She asks only one thing. "I beg you, whatever you believe, preserve that friendship. Promise me you will not act against the Count of Monte Cristo." She offers no reason, only urgency, and the silence where an explanation should be. That silence is more frightening than any answer. She watches him leave. Her hands are perfectly still now. Her face has recovered completely. Neither sight brings comfort. Above the stalls, the opera continues. The box keeps its private darkness. Morel speaks. Albert's name, the morning, the Bois de Vincennes. Monte Cristo does not turn from the stage. Albert de Morcerf will not leave the Bois de Vincennes alive. He does not lower his voice. He does not wait for a reply. He lifts the opera glass. Below, the soprano turns on her mark. The audience breathes in the dark. The evening proceeds. What was decided in this box leaves no trace upon it. None at all. The will lies open on the desk. Every beneficiary entered in a careful hand. Every sum exact. Nothing has been left unaccounted for, not even the man who wrote it. He has reduced his own death to an administrative act. Haydée finds the document. She reads it to the final line. Then she tears it. "Without you, my lord, there is nothing in the world for which I would choose to remain in it." The torn pages rest in her hands. She does not ask him to change the will. She makes it impossible to keep. He has charted every enemy, every debt owed, and every debt to collect. He did not chart this. Monte Cristo stands with the precision of a man who rarely miscalculates. He does not move. He does not reach for the pages. The one variable absent from his arithmetic. The veil lifts. Neither of them moves. The candlelight remains indifferent. "I have known you since before this night, Edmond. I knew you by your voice. I have known you by it since the first evening." She has carried that knowledge for 2 decades, through every dinner, every formal greeting, every night in a house raised upon his disappearance. For a long time he says nothing. Then he places the letter on the table between them. A single page. The handwriting of men once called his friends, Fernand and Danglars. The names that sent Edmond Dantès to prison on the morning of his wedding. She looks at it. She already knows what it contains. He watches her face and finds the same grief he has carried alone for 20 years. Yet hers reaches farther back. It began in the years he could not witness, in the life she was forced to build over the wreckage. 2 ruins, 1 document. Nothing in the room can mend either of them. The door closes. He does not move toward it. The room still holds her presence, the weight of what she asked and of what he promised. Your son will live. When we meet at dawn, I will stand in front of his pistol, and I will not raise mine. There was no hesitation, no silence of refusal, no pause in which terms might be weighed. 20 years of calculation had been aimed at a single morning, now only hours away. Yet he has agreed to meet it without lifting a hand. Because she asked. Because he still knew her voice. He sits. A candle burns beside him. When it gutters out, he does not call for another. Dawn is 8 hours away. He is not afraid of it. The witnesses are already assembled when Albert enters. He does not pause at the threshold. He walks to the center of the room, where every eye can find him, and stops. He is still a young man. The name Morcerf rests on him like a coat he has chosen to remove. When he speaks, he does not lower his voice. My father betrayed Ali Pasha to his enemies, and he destroyed an innocent man to steal his place and his woman. I do not ask for forgiveness on his behalf. I ask only to be known as something different from what he was. No one answers. The name is already falling away. He extends his hand toward the Count. For a moment, the Count studies him, the son of the man who set all of this in motion. Then he takes the offered hand. There is grief in the gesture, and for an instant, something that resembles mercy. The rooms are still. Albert walks through them with Mercédès beside him, neither hurried nor slow, but at the pace of people who have already decided. A military uniform lies folded across a chair in the corridor. He does not touch it. A portrait hangs upon the wall. Neither of them turns toward it. In the drawing room, a letter knife rests upon the desk. A pair of gloves remains where it was left. A candlestick. A silver frame. The quiet arrangements of a life that will not resume. Mercédès lifts a small, plain-covered book. She holds it for a moment, then places it back. There is nothing here that belongs to them now. They pass through the final corridor. 30 years of memory contained within a walk of only minutes. Albert opens the front door. They step through it together. The house remains behind them. Neither of them looks back. The carriage departs. The courtyard empties. Fernand stands alone in the salon of a house that is no longer his. The Count enters from the corridor. He crosses the room without ceremony, without a word. He removes his coat. Beneath it is a sailor's dress. Rough cotton, salt-faded cloth. The clothing of a man who worked the sea rather than commanded it. Fernand understands before the words arrive. My name is Edmond Dantès. Fernand does not answer. His face changes in stages. The mouth first, then the eyes, then the general's authority, the husband's claim, the peer's dignity. The entire structure of the man he became folds inward upon itself. He turns and crosses the room. He does not run. From another floor, a shot. One sound, clear, final. What Fernand built across 30 years, rank, house, title, reputation, had rested upon a letter signed in a harbor tavern while a young sailor still believed himself fortunate. It ends here. In a room the Count will not enter. He does not need to. The house still holds its shape. A coat lies on the salon floor. Dark cloth, finely tailored. Not the sailor's dress. the other one. It rests where it fell. A pane in the far window is broken, one edge clean, the other jagged. Cold air slips through the opening and keeps coming. The corridor is empty. The staircase is empty. The door at the end of the upper hall remains closed. The furniture has not moved. The portraits hang straight. The curtains keep their careful folds. No carriage waits in the courtyard. No voice rises from any room. The house still holds its shape. On the Faubourg Saint-Honoré, the Villefort house is lit. Lamps glow in the upper windows. Curtains are drawn. The steps are swept. The evening door is closed. In the first-floor salon, a glass stands on a side table, half empty. Its stem rests a few inches from where a careful hand would have placed it. The fire has burned low. The hallway is quiet. No footsteps sound on the stair. Everything remains where it belongs. The room preserves the appearance of order. The house looks exactly as it should. The air does not. The drawing room is warm. Valentine stands near the window, the curtains half drawn, the last of the evening fading from the glass. She speaks as though the thought has only now occurred to her. The strangest thing, even plain water has had a bitter taste to it for several days now. She turns toward the stairs. Her hand reaches the banister before her foot finds the first step. She does not fall at once. Her body simply refuses the motion she has chosen. A weakness in the knee, a hesitation in the shoulder, small failures, arriving one after another before they can be understood. Maximilian is beside her in an instant. He catches her and holds on. He does not know what he is holding. He does not know what has gone wrong. No name comes to him for the danger gathering beneath his hands. She sags against him. He calls out. The sound carries through the hall. It is the voice of a man who understands only this. Whatever is happening has already passed beyond his power. The cry carries through the house. Maximilian finds the Count before any message reaches him. Or perhaps the Count was already on his way. The words come without ceremony. Only the essentials remain. I love her, Monsieur le Comte. I love Valentine de Villefort, and I cannot reach her, and she is dying. Monte Cristo does not answer at once. His hands close slightly at his sides, not into fists, into something quieter, a gathering of resolve. He asks no questions, not how long, not what symptoms, nothing. Go home. Valentine will not die. Maximilian obeys. Monte Cristo remains where he is. The room has changed around a promise spoken before a path existed to fulfill it. Yet the promise stands, binding because it was given. In Noirtier's room, the answer arrives without a word. d'Avrigny watches the old man's eyes move, slow and deliberate, toward the small vial on the shelf. Then they return to the doctor's face. The pattern reveals itself. For months, Noirtier has been taking measured traces of the same poison now striking the household. Careful doses, patient intervals. A grandfather-denied speech has been building his granddaughter's resistance by the only means left to him. Beyond the garden wall, a door opens in the neighboring property. A figure in a priest's dark coat enters and sets to work. No announcement, no summons, only the continuation of an arrangement made long before this night. The board was never empty. A ledger lies open on the desk. Eugenie sits before it, not across from her father, but across from the document. He recites the terms. She answers none of them. She waits until every condition has been spoken. Then she lifts her eyes. I will sign the contract on one condition, that my absolute personal freedom remains entirely untouched after the ceremony. Guarantee me that, and I will give you what you need. Danglars agrees. He hears consent. He misses the precision. The phrase, after the ceremony, not within the marriage. A guarantee, not a promise. Every condition shaped around departure rather than attachment. Her hand settles on the pen. She leaves it where it is. The contract waits for Eugenie's signature. In another room, Andrea Cavalcanti has already moved beyond waiting. He crosses the Danglars' house with the ease of a man collecting an inheritance. The engagement announced, the ceremony fixed. One detail remains. He finds Monte Cristo and asks for it directly. Will the Count stand beside him at the wedding, in a father's place? I will come as a guest, nothing more. You require a father. I am not one. Andrea smiles. He takes the answer for modesty, perhaps even kindness. He does not see what the Count has done. He has stepped cleanly outside the arrangement, leaving no thread that can bind him when the structure collapses. The salon is crowded to its limits. Crystal gleams beneath candlelight. The contract lies open on the table, the quill beside it, a ceremony prepared to last only minutes. Monte Cristo steps into the center. He does not raise his voice. Before the contract is signed, you may wish to know that a letter and a blood-soaked waistcoat, recovered from the body of the man called KORAS, have this evening been placed before the king's attorney. The matter concerns a crime attributed to Monsieur Andrea Cavalcanti. The announcement arrives with the ease of a drawing room observation. The room understands it piece by piece. Then the doors open. Officers enter. Their pace requires no introduction. They pass among the guests with purpose, direction, and no hesitation. The bridegroom is no longer where he stood. No shout follows, no panic. Only the empty space he occupied, and the spreading realization that Andrea Cavalcanti vanished before anyone thought to watch him. The Danglars' name remains written upon the contract. The pen has not moved. Nothing in the room stands where it stood before. The Danglars' salon remains brightly lit. The contract still rests upon the table. The pen has not moved. Elsewhere, two other houses keep their own silence. The Morcerf mansion stands dark, its heart torn out. Those remaining inside have not yet measured the full extent of the loss. Across the city, a pale square of light marks Valentine's window. She is still there. And beneath the same night sky, a man who answers to no fixed name moves through the darkness.